This is Ephraim Tours, where we tour places from New England and discuss history, culture, science, and religion. Last time we explored the concept of the tree of life, and I mentioned that in Hinduism, the tree of life is the earth. In this episode, we will be discussing what our responsibility is as humans to the earth. On New Year's Day, my brother and I joined the Blue Ocean Society from Portsmouth, New Hampshire on their first annual New Year's beach cleanup. Happy New Year! We're here at Hampton Beach and we're doing a beach cleanup with Blue Ocean Society to start off the new year right.
So they're used to biologically treat wastewater before it's released back into the environment. But it's made of plastic, and thousands of them were released all at once in an emergency overflow spill. They traveled down the river, and then they ended up in the ocean. So the Ocean Society decided they wanted to track these and where they were going, because plastic just lasts so long in the environment, and it never fully breaks down. That's why it's such a problem.
The hunt for plastic.
Bag.
Nice.
This whole thing is going to be filled up with fireworks.
This episode is actually 14 years in the making. I started documenting plastic pollution in 2008 for a college paper. I have gone on several beach cleanups, and I actually found some of those hook-set plastic filters a couple of times. And just about every year, my family and I participate in Vermont Green Up Day, picking up litter from the side of the road or at a park, sometimes with a group and sometimes not. When I started talking about plastic in the oceans, not too many people knew about it. But now, just about everyone knows at least it's a problem. But even now, many people don't realize just how serious the problem is. The plastic does not just come from the coastal areas. Even plastic litter from as far away as Tennessee eventually makes its way to the sea. When there is a hurricane or when it rains and a river like the Mississippi floods, debris is swept downstream and can travel hundreds of miles, flowing over barriers and dams, making its way to the ocean. I'm going to read a bit from The Origin of Species by Charles Darwin. It says, as buds give rise by growth to fresh buds, and these, if vigorous, branch out, and overtop on all sides many a feebler branch, so by generation it has been with the great tree of life, which fills the broken branches, the crust of the earth, and covers the surface of its ever-branching and beautiful ramifications. So we learned that the tree of life is the whole earth, and that the earth is what gives us life, Mother Earth, and we need to take care of the earth. On August 7th, 2012, we went to Newburyport for a whale watch cruise put on by Blue Ocean Society. But before we did, we went to the beach to pick up some plastic. I found several of these plastic round discs. I would later find out that they came from a spill at the Hookset water treatment plant. In 2011, Hurricane Irene hit New England. This is footage from some of the debris floating down the Connecticut River.
That bad of a storm.
It looks like a wall or something. There it goes.
Every once in a while.
So in Christianity, there's this idea of original sin, or when Adam and Eve partook of the fruit of the tree of knowledge of good and evil. But that was really just an evolutionary step which made man accountable. The original sin is really survival of the fittest, or in other words, surviving at the expense of someone else or others. So a big part of Darwin's theory of evolution is the idea of the struggle for life and natural selection, or survival of the fittest. This creates competition between all the animals and species, and every creature that lives has this competition for life. Of course, we all have a right to do what we need to do to survive, but because man evolved, we are accountable for our actions when they inflict on others. So in other words, we are accountable for if we take from the poor. Survival of the fittest is the root of all sin. It is the cause of wars and contentions. Human knowledge has evolved to the point where wars and contentions could potentially cause the end of life as we know it. Bullies like Trump and warmongers like Putin don't seem to understand that since World War II and the invention of the atomic bomb, the world and human existence can't afford another age of empires and territorial expansion. I am always for the underdog. Ukraine has a right to defend themselves against Russian tyranny. Putin seems to think that NATO will attack Russia, but NATO does not take territory. It only defends territory. It was established after World War II in order to prevent another world war, and has worked for over 75 years. Putin, with his recent crimes against Ukraine and escalation of nuclear threat, is bringing the world close to the brink. One nuke would wipe out New York City, half of New York, Connecticut, and all of New Jersey. A counter nuke would completely level Moscow and the surrounding area for 100 miles. Right now, the US and Russia have around 8,000 nuclear bombs combined, each 10 to 80 times more powerful than the atom bomb that ended World War II. That would be enough to destroy the planet dozens of times over. It is sad to see such destruction and loss of life caused by man. Sometimes you feel so helpless. What can one person do? What can anyone do to help preserve the tree of life? Humans are obviously responsible for the plastic pollution problem. That can't be said to be a cause of nature. Humans are also a factor in climate change, although it is easier for skeptics to throw doubt on the subject of climate change. We as humans are responsible for the pollution created from burning fossil fuels.
I know a lot of people are driving big gas-guzzling trucks like this, but this is my big gas-guzzling truck driving by. You see them everywhere. I'm looking forward to when I can get a electric truck.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Big trucks with their grills and their big fat tires.
Gotta get a Tesla.
Of course we all fall short. I use plastic that I end up throwing away. I try not to. But spreading the word of plastic pollution and using plastic doesn't make someone a hypocrite. We all fall short. The same thing goes for warning about global warming and driving a gas-powered truck, or encouraging mask wearing during a pandemic and then forgetting to wear a mask on occasion. As long as you are trying, no one can rightly call you a hypocrite. We do what we can. We need to look at each other as brothers and sisters throughout the world, or as cousins, because that's what we are. 4th, 5th, and 6th cousins, all the way to Adam. We are all one big human family. The earth gives us all life. Because humans evolved to have the ability to create and destroy, we have the responsibility to the earth to take care of it, to take care of each other, and to take care of the animals and other creations of the tree of life, or of the planet Earth.